Hey, good evening. It's great to see you here tonight. I am here with Taya. Our objective at Highland Park is to really help you really be successful in your endeavors in gemstone cutting, whether that's being just doing things for hobby for fun, or if it's for you wanting to do shows and things like that. So we're very much focused on, I'm hearing echo through the voice if you can mute yours.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have to stay
okay.
away from each other, otherwise it's like echoes in our ears. So we really want to share as much knowledge that we have in terms of how we've done events. And tonight we're going to be working on cabbing. I think you're also going to include maybe some dome polishing too, of maybe doming of agates and things like that as well. But mostly we'll focus on cabbing tonight. So we're going to go start to finish on this, and certainly in the chat, put your questions. It's going to be just Tay and I here tonight. We typically don't do this. This is like father-daughter evening on this stuff. And I know a lot of you don't see me all that much because I'm in the back and the whole technical side. And I so love to escape that and actually come and be able to do stuff here.
This is probably going to be the longest I get to hang with my dad in a while. I'm really, really excited for tonight. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you get to work with your dad," and my uncle, and although that's true, me and Sherman operate in very different sections of our business. So I rarely get to see my dad throughout the day. And when it comes to like working together, me and you, Sherman, probably work together the least out of working together with everyone else.
That's true. That's actually true. I mean, we'll have lunch together or dinner together, but the work is very different. I'm doing a lot of technology and really, what is the infrastructure for us to really support a million more people getting into the gemstone arts? Um, that's been our mission for a long time, is how do we get a million new people in America involved in the gemstone arts, whether it's your cutting, polishing, collecting, appreciating. And so to do that, it requires both a lot of the tools like what John does, a lot of education for all of you, but also a lot of the back end stuff that actually makes this whole thing come together.
How we kind of split it up, at least in the family, is John's the head of engineering, Sherman's the head of like IT and development, I'm the head of logistics. That's how it's kind of like split up. So we all focus on a little bit different things. I'm really excited because we get a cut and chat. Me, Sherman, and maybe John joins us on Monday as well
Yep.
on the shaping machine, one of
Yeah,
Sherman's favorite machines.
I love the shaping machine. So tonight, put in the chat, who is new to cutting cabs? Just say, yes, I'm new, or just say new. Yep, Deborah. Anybody else? Sounds like other people may have done newish, newish. Okay, new. Hey there, Leslie. New. Oh, great. Yeah, so we got definitely some people. Yeah, one. I mean, you're new. Um, as many of you know, like Zeke, really, really great cabber. My brother is a super good cabber. And oh, good. We'll put this on. And that's really what led him to make the CB8. Actually, switch to the CB8 camera. One of the things in this particular machine that was really important to him is because he's done a lot of cabbing. This rounded edge here, when you're working hours on a cab, you're actually going to want to rest your hand and work. And so when he was wanting to build a good cabbing machine, ergonomics, he's developing tendonitis, carpal tunnel, that, and a lot of people who cab run into those kind of problems. And so he wanted to design a machine that really allowed you to work for long periods of time without really stressing your body. So this curved edge here, which is not going to catch your skin, you can rub right against your arm without any kind of friction, really makes the ergonomics of the machine really great. And the other thing he did is he increased the space between the wheels, because if you're doing an inside curve, show me a cab that has an inside curve, for example. No, that's outside curves. Like an inside curve is would be a curve here that you're doing the inside of a particular shape. Still an outside curve.
Well,
Um,
well, it should also, I make cabs really weird. Everyone has seen, if you've watched me make a cab and you kind of cringed at like my hands a little bit. When I make cabs, I have super flexy fingers. Kind of makes life a little bit difficult for me. But when I hold cabs and I'm flexing against the wheel, I use this part of my finger to hold the cab, which is not necessarily the best way, but it's what I do. And so when I'm pushing my hand farther into the wheel than necessary, and I tend to clip, especially I do this with the CB6 more because there's less space. I clip the outside edge of my fingers into the edges of the wheel on the other side. So when I'm pushing here, I'll do that and just clip my knuckle. Not so pleasant. That's kind of what he's talking about. When you're doing an inside curb, you're closer because you're using this. It's like if you're doing hearts, you're using the edge of your wheel, so you're flexing in and you can hit this, especially if your wheel's only an inch away.
yeah, Jeff's right. Like a wavy heart would have, oh, kind of an inside curve. There's an inside. That's a very slight inside curve, but you can see that there you're working a curve inside. Now, if you got a bigger piece, and John used to do really big statement pieces, he'd always get frustrated because as you're working on that inside piece, you nick the adjacent wheel, then you're going back and having to clean it up. So that would be kind of an example of an inside thing. A double-sided cab, possibly. Never done a double bevel cab set in a silver strip for dual-sided cab. Yeah, Michael, that's a great question. I don't know if we'll cover that tonight, but
I don't
that
have
would
any
be a cool thing to
double-sided
show.
cabs tonight. I don't have any in this building, I don't think right now, unless they're pilfered away in Zeke's stuff from when Zeke's made them.
Zeke has undoubtedly made them. So yeah, the just as a finish up on the CB8, that's what a lot of John's thinking went to in terms of being able to have. I had just had to mute it because I'm hearing myself. A building a machine that's really, really easy to use, ergonomic, and then we went to the brushless DC motor up top, which really makes it variable speed and much quieter. Uses about 1/3 the power that a typical cabbing machine would use. So what do we want to get started with, Tay? Unmute yourself.
You silenced me. I have a couple different options that I wanted to pick from. One of the things I want to do is I've been holding on to this. I said 6 months. It's actually been closer to a year and a half. I was cutting this lovely Koyamito and I didn't know there was a fracture inside of it. It was very similar, like I have this fracture, which is completely internal. The top snapped off when I was cutting, so I'm going to dome this. This is an option I can work on tonight. I was going to show how to do more high dome or earring domes on some Millefiori rods. Picked out a couple. That's an option. I have quite a few different Royal Imperial jaspering nodules, different sizes, different widths that we can cut and show you how to work with the stone, especially thinny ones like this, and make longer cabs. I have a more plump Millefiori if we want to do that. I also have one that I think Sherman would be more into is purple and green jade, although I picked the more of the green stuff because I like green. So I have a couple chunks of the Royal Imperial, the green and purple jade from Indonesia. I have some of the Starburst glass. I'm being very gentle that we could cab up. Cabbing a glass is always a little bit different, especially clear glass. Or I have Sonoran Sunset, which is really fun to cut because it's so soft. It's really fun to cab, showing a couple different materials. I haven't glued that. I was going to glue it 2 days ago, and then oil kept leaking out of the cut, so I had to put it back in Quicksorb. We have one for the glass. We have one for the Royal Imperial. There's two of us. Sonoran Sunrise, Sunset. They've called the same thing. All right. I think we'll do a couple things tonight. Doesn't take too long to make cabs.
Should we cut some of that, get some of the stuff in the salt?
Yeah, I just picked a small piece. One thing right now, you guys will like this. I'm not using any of the big saws tonight because you guys have seen these saws. I'm sure my saw cutters know what this is. We are in a deep clean of all of our machines because they're all ready to be used. So when people come, they're not using dirtier machines because we cut all the time. So that's what we've been doing this past day. So my bigger saws don't have oil in them right now. Ooh. So what I'm hearing is, Sherm, could you put these in the saw? Cut for that face, cut for this face. We're going to be slabbing. So set your first cut. We'll cut for those. I'll put this one in. And remember, when you're working with glass, I recommend before you cut it, especially as it shards, to wear gloves when you're working with it so you don't cut yourself. I have a couple nasty nicks from some obsidians. Then we'll
Can I use the
slab of
beloved
tooth.
Petunia?
You can use Petunia. You're the one who gave me her. I just had to have the talk with staff. I became really strict with who's allowed to use my saw after I came back from school like when I was at college and I came back and the arbor was shot in my saw and someone had rammed the flange with a rock. Someone I didn't know, and I didn't allow to use my saw, so I started getting really protective of her. I'm gonna start cutting this. I want to slab it where this two-toned is. I want all of the colors in my cap. I want to make a little bigger cap. I also like just the blue cap. So I think I'm going to slab it for this face. And these rocks will fit in the 12. Right down there. You want those nice orbs. When you're cutting Royal Imperial, you want to cut for the orbs or the color. Kind of my favorite. I love the Royal Imperials. Sure. What's your favorite kind of rock?
My favorite material is charoite.
Really? We could
Oh
use some
yeah.
charoite, although that is a bear to cab.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something illegal in the rock cutting world. So you guys are about to see me cut above my blade. I don't recommend doing this because you can get waste in your stone. But the reason I'm cutting above my blade is I don't have a bigger saw. So what this will happen is I'll have this little lip above the top that I'll have to snap off.
Hey Tay, you do have these two saws.
Oh, I forgot I had an HC14. Technically, I just bought one. Ain't that
Yep.
right, Sherb?
Yep.
Could you do it this side? Because I want to cut this face.
So you want to clamp it and cut this way.
I want to cut, so I'm cutting this face because I want this two-tone, so I want to slab it this way.
Okay.
Swiss cheese it. That's actually not the term I mean, but you get the gist.
Just to set up so you can see how I'm setting this up. I'm using a gripper for this, and I got to see if I've got it good enough in here. And I may or may not. Now, in this case, I don't.
Speaking of grippers, yesterday I shipped out 90 slab grippers. They're on their way to you, and I think I shipped out every single tumbler that was on back order
That
in
was
the
a
past two
lot of stuff.
days. So if you have a 3L, it is on the way to you. I shipped out every single one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have problems gripping this with that particular. I'm gonna see if I can get another saw going for this, Tay.
It just needs oil. They're all good to go. You just need to pour
I think
oil.
maybe I'll use this 16.
There's no oil in it.
All right, let me see if I can find some oil that I can pour off. Looks good right here.
The glass. Oh yeah, I approved that Vicky a couple hours ago. So someone should be reaching out to you and we can get those out. Super exciting. I worked until
Just don't cut yourself. Where's your gloves? This is where I'd recommend using those what's that material called? Those gloves I
Kevlar.
bought? Kevlar gloves for the glass. They're very thin Kevlar gloves. They work really well for protecting yourself.
One thing when you're cutting glass, you'll notice if you've ever cut any glass material, sometimes you have a little bit of blowout on edges. That is not abnormal. When you have a very tight material, as in, how do I describe a tight material?
I don't
Very
know the word,
combined.
what you mean by tight.
When the material is structurally just a single composite and there's no bubbles, gaps, porosity. I can't think of the word. Dense, isn't it? Because it's maybe I'll get there someday. We'll do that. And then we cut those three. What else do I want to cut? Hmm.
Do you know if they've
Maybe
cleaned out all these Evercleans today?
uh
I'll
no.
check.
Doubtful? Uniform. That's what I meant. When your material is very uniform in structure, sometimes you get a little bit of that breakage. And it's usually right on the edge at the beginning or the ends of your cut. It just flakes off, especially with obsidians or very glass-like or opalitic materials. Opalitic agate can do it as well. Like if you're cutting thin strips of Queensland agate, it can happen there as well.
Why don't you get
All right.
a cab kind of you start with a template as an example and get
I'm
going
going to
with
show
one
them.
so somebody
All right. My dad's telling me what to do. Some things never change, do they?
look what I put up with.
Oh, rude. All right. I'm going to cut two rods I have, Millie Floria as well, are beads. This I wanted to make cool little earring cabs out of because I love the like China wear aesthetic on this. It's just the colors. And then this one because I thought it would make a cool kind of trippy cab. So the first thing I need before I do anything though is eye protection. Because especially when you're cutting materials on a trim saw, you want to wear eye protection because this is one of the saws you have the highest likelihood of having splinters fly off because you're cutting very fast and aggressively.
Well,
Especially if I'm working
somewhat
with,
fast.
well,
I wouldn't suggest
somewhat
pushing too
fast.
fast on a trim saw. You'll get fracturing and can generate heat fractures. And heat fractures are essentially little micro fractures in the surface. Sometimes you'll see people cranking through agates in that with a trim saw in water, and that's going to give you a lot of micro fracturing in the agate because your expansion rate of the agate is inconsistent, meaning it's hotter on the surface where you're cutting, and so expands faster than in the rest of the agate, and so then it cracks.
Will we have the rods available to sell? We do. We just have to get them all separated and wrapped. And that is on Zeke's to-do list. What I was doing, if you notice here, I have like fracturing out, so I was just cutting that end off. I could still cut this up, but I wanted to get more uniform pieces. For the 10-inch trim, you want to set this so it's tight enough that you can lift or lower this at will to adjust for the height of your piece. Something I love about this saw. And what you'll notice what just happened, what I was talking about, if you cut more aggressively, especially with the like glasses, it can bust out at the end of your cut because of the built up pressure. But I have my little crazy eye. That's going to be a cab. Now I'm going to cut up this rod a little bit. And these ones I'm going a little bit thicker with because I'm giving myself enough material. That one I'm a little uneven, but that's okay. I can fix that. But giving myself enough material that I can grind away without making my cab super thin. Because I did that with a Millefiori cab, I had it really thin, and it was a stressful time. So I have my 3 little cabs. So for these, it's going to be very hard for me to cut them exactly the same width. So what I do is I overcut them and then I grind them to the same width. You can either do this face or cut it for this face.
Okay.
So this is our CB8V variable speed. You have your variable speed control up here. One thing I'm sure most of you know, but sometimes people forget, is when you turn on the machine and this, if the variable speed control is set to 0, your wheels will not start spinning. 0 is 0, no movement, no speed. So that is something important to come to mind before you're like, oh, machine's not turning on. Happens to the best of us. I've done that before myself where I'm like, oh, this tumbler's broken. It was not, it was me. The first wheel I'm starting with is our coarse grit. This is an 80 grit grinding, sintered grinding. The difference between the sintered, you know, if you have a sintered or a plated, is plated. Since it's plated with nickel, it's silver. And this one has like a brass, I believe, and they're brass and they're thinner. All right. I have to set this correct. There we go. Sorry, I choked on my own spit. This is what I'm going to do first. Little crazy cab. So I want to make this a little bit more round. One thing as you're polishing cabs to, I keep coughing, is don't forget to do your bevel, which is the bevel is the edge of your cab. I like starting it thicker if you're going to do wire wrapping and stuff. It's up to you, but a lot of people prefer a little bit thicker cabs, a little bit easier to wrap. If I'm doing jewelry, I like doing pre-made silver bands, which I like a thicker one. I also like the look more. Okay, sure. I like the black band, so I'm gonna probably keep it like that and wrap it like that. Cool little ring. What material is cab on the table? This one, this is Millie Fiore. That's a piece of Millie Fiore. That's also a Millie Fiore cab I finished. Yeah. There's some I was experimenting with during a live sale one night when Zekin was off doing something on the live sale. What I'm doing now is I'm starting to put my dome. What I do is I start slowly lowering so I get the bevel to the height I want it. I don't want it too thick because then I'm not a super big fan of like chunky jewelry. I know that was really big in the early 2000s. I tend to like daintier pieces, but I do like funky necklaces. So I'm getting there. This is a very dull wheel.
No, no, Jiggy.
I told you, John always calls 30 minutes into a live sale. Is he popping up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna in a bit. He will probably jump on here.
Oh,
Hey,
you get the full family tonight.
is Lizelle on?
Not yet,
I,
James.
I don't hear her popping up.
So you'll notice I'm doing this rocking where because I want a more steep dome, I'm doing a circle. Because as I'm grinding in a circular pattern to start shaping out my dome. You will get flat spots as you do this, especially on your harder wheels. When you get to your on this case, your 400 grit expanding wheel, which I prefer going from the 120 to the 400 grit, to the 220 grit because it's steadier, but I only have a 400 grit thing. This is where you'll start buffing out those flat spots, and then as you hit the resin, you'll have a lot more give to the wheel. So that's when you start pressing it. Right now, I'm not pressing into the stone. I'm letting the stone do the work for me. But you'll notice as I do this, I am the victim of the wheels. When we talk about hitting your knuckles into the wheels, that is me. Right? Especially for me. I have really big hands. It doesn't look like it, but I don't know what to do with the extra finger length. I don't know. I don't have an extra knuckle. There's six. I'm now moving on to my next wheel. Because what polishing is just making smaller and smaller and smaller scratches until it's imperceptible. And what you've noticed is I've actually messed up my bezel just a little bit. It's a little uneven, so I'm working my way down. There we go. That's a mostly even bezel. So you'll see I've lost quite a bit of material. I think I was talking to Zeke and you lose about 30% of your material or more as you polish and make into cabs. Oh, no. Could you scroll down the chat, Sherm? You're saying I've suffered for the past like year.
Paul, fix that.
Now that is some Bob the Builder name. Paul the Plumber, Bob the Builder. Who's next? Doug the drywall guy. He's coming in. Eric the electric. Wait, we do have Eric the electrician.
Have Earl the electric.
And Earl the electric. Oh my God. We're getting the gang together, guys.
Yeah, I might.
We can't hear you, Sherman.
You're muted.
Tell
Oh,
So the cool thing is if you use one of these reservoirs, you can put warm water in this. And that's available for both the CB8 and the CB6. It kind of just mounts off the back.
now I'm on my most. I'm going to move the camera because this is my messiest wheel. This throws water like no one's business. One thing about the expanding wheels to know, when you turn off the machine, because I get asked these questions a lot about what direction should the fins face. The fins need to face, as we slow down. You can actually explain this, sure, about what does an expanding wheel do and why is the directions of the fins so important to function. Because if it's not in the correct orientation,
It's fins. He's kind of angle.
You're muted.
Base. I'm muted.
The fins actually have to face outward so that the wheel will expand. Same thing on the bull wheel. The bull wheel has a bunch of cuts in the rubber wheel, and so those need to face the direction that you're going, as if they're kind of carving, because that expands it out. You'll get much better retention of your belt that way than if you flip it around.
not even much better retention. So the fins, you basically want to have them face pointing downwards towards the direction that the wheel is spinning. So this wheel spins down like towards me instead of up. So these are facing down because as it spins, it's going to be grabbing the air in there and expanding the wheel and then holding my belt tight. As you can see, unexpanded, this belt could just come right off. And if you install your wheel backwards, that expanded wheel will not expand, and you're going to have your belt just shift all the way away from you as you're cutting, and you're going to be like, what the heck? It's running away.
Right.
So
And what's
that's
really
important.
expanding it is the centrifugal force of the wheel. Like that's going to expand that whole wheel will expand and so
My
there you
belt's
can
on a
see
little
it tightens
crooked,
up
but
on the wheel.
yep, you could see it was kind of doing this, and now since it's expanded, it's really holding it. You're muted again.
I know. I just trying to not echo chamber for you. Put in the chat
You're fine.
who here has the CB6 or CB8 right now?
Also, I'm running right now. When in your grinding phase, you want to run almost the fastest speed you can, especially if you're doing a harder material like a glass, a 7+. You can do a little slower on the softer materials because you don't want to burn your material. But I'm running a right between an 8 and a 9 right now, 9 being the fastest. You want to, the finer grits you get, you want to slow that down because you'll start hydroplaning, especially when it comes to how much water you're running, how hard your material is. Also, if you have questions for Sherm, it's very rare you catch him on account in chat. Ask away.
Yeah, we can talk about anything. Oh, I'm going to also check the saws here shortly. Um, that's great. Oh, and James, I mean, Deborah, you're getting yours this next Friday. That's awesome. That's good. And Douglas, you got yours today. Awesome. Awesome. They are built like a tank. A really, really nice machine. The cool thing when we started making machines is we wanted to make machines that would last generations so that you could, use it your entire lifespan and then pass it on to somebody else. And oh, great, great. Other people could use it. So for us, building things that are really legacy type of tools is what's important. Like even look to the thing like putting a brass nameplate on. For us, it's like if I'm going to build a machine, I want to put something on there that's really cool, not like a sticker. Because the sticker is going to get scratched, it'll flake off. And for us, we care, like, because this represents really a lot of what we love. And that's the thing. So the theory on the wheel placement, it's a great question. It's a preference in terms of how people like to work. This is actually, go ahead.
Well, it used to not be about preference. A lot of people, and this happens. So you'll see I have a little bit more bounce on this side of my wheel than I this side because although it's so marginal, it does not matter, especially for this machine, because I have all of my heavy wheels sitting on one side. For the older machines that didn't have the greatest balance in the machine itself, built a little bit lighter is the best way I could say. If you didn't put your grinding wheels closest to your arbor, you would get the most ungodly bouncing. It would make
Right.
polishing on this end impossible because your arbor is basically sitting like this, so it's like bouncing away on the high end. So that's why people place their grinding wheels towards the center of their arbor.
We
I
use
like
a
doing this.
We use a 3/16 stainless steel shaft, which is 1 inch diameter. So some of the other cabbing machines are 3/4 inch shaft. So it's just a smaller shaft. And you've got a lot of material machines, like what, especially centered wheels, which are a lot heavier than a plated wheel on that shaft. And if your wheels are not balanced, that's also that can cause some vibration. So, if you ever get you fire up your machine and if you feel like there's vibration, first thing to check is going to be the wheel. Because sometimes there's the wheel's not balanced, or if the wheel got damaged, then that could cause some balancing issues as well. In this particular configuration, Zeke puts the expanding wheel exactly to what Joseph says on the outside, so you can just change your belt super easy. And then the two centered wheels on the inside on the left. So you essentially have a pattern of working from the left side, then over to the right side wheels. A lot of people have bought the CB8 with this configuration just because it's a super good configuration. The blades, Neil, have been working very, very well. We are, I think, we may be fairly close to running out. We've sold them faster than we thought.
Which ones? We've run out of a
So
couple.
the little 6 inch continuous rim, that very, very thin curved blade.
Oh, I have those.
You have more? Because I know we were moving through those fairly fast.
Oh, we're moving through them because they're great.
Yeah. That's been, we did about 2 years of development in the blade matrix until we felt that it was really good for prime time. Yes, Leslie, you could definitely change different grits.
What I'm going to do is show you a little trick. Actually, Zeke showed me this one. Is to see if you have any things. I should have done this much earlier. If you have any major scratches that you need to buff out, blow on your rock a little bit, dry it off. Although my hands are wet, so it's not helping. The two grip belts that I recommend that I use the most are 400 and 220 because I use this in my, but it also depends on what you want to make. I like using those for cabs because I finish with from my 600 resin up to my 3000 resin and then I buff. that kind of depends on what you want to do, what materials you're polishing. Some people, especially if you're doing agates on your machine, you want an even finer belt. You want to go up to like 600 before you start finishing, or even 800 to 1,000 before you hit finishing. And so they like doing that on the expanding. It's really up to personal preference. I personally put the 220 and the 400 because I use it in my grinding process, and then I have my polish in sequence. You technically can go from 220 to 600. It's just your 600 is you're going to have to do a longer, much longer, more intensive grind to get off those 220 scratches because that's a pretty big jump in grind size.
I just got the end off of that. That's going to be cool.
Ooh, it has all the greens in it.
Yep. So I'm going to do the second cut because this is the end cut.
So this is a dry. I think you can see I'm only at 600, so I have quite a bit of buffing to do. You can see those micro scratches still left in right there. Super shiny material like this shows scratches like no one's business. And actually, I messed up. I have to go back a thing. Right on the edge where that white is, that is coarse grind things that I missed. We're going back one. This is the reality of cutting cabs. So I'm going to go back to my 400 and get that out. Never be afraid to go back a step, even if it's inconvenient, because you don't want to settle for something that's good. You want to settle for something that's great.
Or you don't want to spend a huge amount of time trying to get out those scratches and the finer grit. It's much easier to go back and get it. Oh, this one's really nice too.
Oh no, I lost one. This is not a finished cab. Keep asking questions, especially you have one of the owners of Highland Park yapping away. So speed control is really one up to personal preference. Some people like going really aggressive, but two, based on the material you're cutting. Softer materials, you don't have to use because the faster your wheel is spinning, the more aggressive you're grinding. So if you're using a softer material, like if I'm going to be doing Sonoran Sunset, which I think is like a 5 on the Mohs scale, I'm going to reduce the speed because I don't want the most aggressive cut. Because if it's cutting really aggressively, I'm losing material so fast. And if you're really good at cabbing and you're doing production, that's something that you can do because you know exactly how much to push and when to change. But if you're more new to it, I recommend going slower because you can take away material, you can't add material back. Another thing for speed is depending on, like, if you're doing really hard rock, you want more aggressive grinding. I turn up the speed, otherwise you're going to be grinding forever at a slower pace.
Ooh, those floaters in there are really sharp.
Those are the little starbursts in there. I just cut off the end. Did you turn it 7?
No, I just eyeballed it.
Good enough.
What she's saying when she says turning 7 is she knows that if she cranks it 7 times with that particular crossfeed, that's going to get her to the dimension she wants, factoring in also the thickness of the blade.
Yeah, that's about 1/4 of an inch. I got off those nicks. Now I'm going to my 600. Oh yeah, I love the notch blades. I'll say it. The notch ones cut better than my Congo.
That's saying something because the Congo is a really fine blade.
For my people who've been in the industry, my old timers here, I'm sure you know what a Congo blade is and how beloved they are.
Yeah.
Old blade. Did MK didn't make it? Who made the Congo? MK
Congo's
bought.
Highland Park. So Highland Park
Like
Lapidary, Highland Park Manufacturing back in the 50s and the
manufacturing.
60s were making blades. The when MK was then started by Bob Delahutt, and he bought the blade business, the blades from Highland Park when Highland Park was kind of fizzling in the 70s. Highland Park Manufacturing was fizzling. The family that owned it were really, not like it kind of had its run. And then I think about 1978 is when it was out of business.
Did
Highland
they
Park
offshore it
Manufacturing.
MK? They
No.
offshored MK to
Oh
Korea?
yeah. MK, yeah, they did everything to Iwa Diamond out of Korea. And Iwa does a great blade for concrete. The blades for lapidary were not good. Now the blades originally were made in America, and the MKs made in America, they were great. But when they moved offshore, it's just that everything around blades is around the diamond formula, and your knowledge of how to make diamond cut with certain types of materials. So a concrete blade is going to have a very hard segment because concrete is abrasive. And so you're protection against wear by making a very hard segment and a very high diamond density. But if you're cutting hard material, and like rock is way harder than concrete, then you actually want a slightly different matrix, a slightly softer matrix that exposes diamond as you're cutting and then allows, and you have a lower diamond density, so the pressure in any one diamond is a lot harder, so it cuts more aggressively without having to be sharpened continuously. Let's see.
Do we
Question
have
from
EC2s? I know we have EC2s. Do we have the tank is the question.
I think we may. Do we have any EC tanks come in this last shipment? ECTs?
We have EC2s.
Yeah, so I think we're out of tanks at this point in time, but we may have more tanks coming tomorrow. We have another container coming tomorrow.
The shipping company has gave me the runaround the past 4 days about this container. They're like, "Oh, we're coming Tuesday." Nope, we're coming Wednesday. Actually, it's
Nope.
Thursday. Never showed up today.
Yep.
That's been
Now
my
it's
life.
Friday. It happens. People call out, they're sick, whatever.
Truck
In their
breakdown.
case, they were low on drivers. So we have a very good relationship with the what's called the drayage company. They're the local trucking company that trucks us to it. And sometimes employees don't show up. Is there a soft 180 for the CB6? No.
No, only plated and sintered. Very hard to get a 180 resin. And a 180 resin, the reason why the coarse grits aren't typically resin is a coarse grit resin wheel will wear out at a very, very fast pace. Because that's your most aggressive wheel where you're removing the most amount of material. So the wear on resin wheels versus plated wheels and sintered will last the absolute longest, then your plated, and then your resin, just in use.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicky, the CB8, I won't do that tonight because I have to pull wheels off of it to show how to do that, but we certainly can do that. And if we have a little bit more time, maybe I would pull it apart because this one actually needs 2 new wipers on it as well.
And I need to pull that off to sharpen that.
So we might be able to actually do that a little later this evening. It's not super difficult, but I have to have the wheel off because I have to undo a couple little screws that clamp the felt on there, and then the felt piece comes right off. The felt, what we're talking about is this piece of material that's up underneath there that spreads the water flat on the wheel.
Scroll down. Scroll the chat down.
All right.
Thank you, Dad.
Oh yeah, we've got some nice material here. And hey, Lizelle, do you want to just talk through some of the deals that you're doing on this material?
Or if you want, I can also talk through it.
Unless Lizelle stepped off here, I'm not sure.
I'm
Scroll
here.
down again. Oh, one thing I wanted to note with the Millefiori, one very common feature of Millefiori is little air bubbles because they're folding different colored glasses in on each other and then stretching the rods out. You're going to get air bubbles in it. So if you get an air bubble, I just go with it. I think it's part of the stone. It's like a feature. You can grind them out, but it can be difficult. But if you see air bubbles, that's just part of the rock. Thank you.
The question, do you make your own one piece for the CB8? Yeah, it's a great question. John's been talking about um, that felt because on the CB6, it's a little bit easier to change the felt because it's basically just clamped on the front. And he has thought about, okay, could I do that on the CB8? He hasn't done that yet. It's right now it's attached underneath there, so it's not as easy to change as the CB6 felt, but it's not bad. But you do need to take the wheels off. And there's two little screws from the
One
back.
nice thing about the CB8 though, which isn't against the CB6, is when you do have wear, it's only on you can replace one wheel at a time. Whereas CB6, since it's a single thing, if it wears really bad on one end, you tend to have to replace all of it.
Yeah, not a big deal. It's really inexpensive
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, I agree.
So on the
CB6 is
back,
still my
Vicky,
favorite.
on the back of the felt's held on with a little piece of there's a little piece of stainless steel that has two screws, and those two screws kind of clamp the felt. And when you loosen the screws, you can pull down the old felt, the new piece in, and then tighten them back up. Yeah, you can flip the belts for sure. On the felt, you can do that. But we also have those in stock. It's a simple, it is a wear part. It is going to wear out over time.
I'm probably going to save buffing until the end because I hate buffing. I have a fear of leather wheels. There's my little piece.
Nice little
Fun
piece.
little guy.
It's
It
the
kind of reminds me
crazy,
almost the evil eye.
it's like the crazy 1960s eye, for those of us that were remembering stuff from the 1960s. I was interviewing people today and like they're all born after the year 2000 and I'm like, as is a lot of
Yeah,
our team. And they're like,
making
you
me
were born in
old.
the last century? And they're kind of
Uh,
like, you're ancient. I'm like, on that end buffer, it is. It basically adhered to the end of it. It's like a double-sided sticky kind of material. I think that's still cutting, or is that done?
this one's done.
Ooh,
That's a nice little piece. That's a nice one.
that is nice.
That's a nice piece of green Royal Imperial. What I'm gonna do though,
Put it in that little stuff there.
this is a Zeke Shabakle here.
Yeah, this Zeke keeps throwing rock into the thing, and I'm like, you got to empty the rock out. Is it in there?
Yep.
Okay. This is not how you want to deal with your rock, just piling it in. So we've been working on getting our guy to put it away. So what shape are we going to do out of this the Royal Imperial?
Ugh.
So we
Let
got
me
these
bend down.
templates.
Which I should
You
be
guys
getting
have
more
probably
back
seen
in.
these. Yeah, we do have more coming. Is that mine?
Take your coffee, you fiend. So
Hey there, Stacy.
we could, we'll let the class decide. We could go for a long little saber tooth looking shield, one of these.
Hey, there's some inside curve ones too.
It's a skinny piece though.
Yeah, it won't work for that.
We could do a longer oval, bring the 70s back, nice extended oval. We can do one of these weird triangle shapes. What are we feeling? Ooh, we could do a long, skinny eye, slit eye shape. I couldn't do a winkle out of it unless that's a really small winkle. Long oval, we have one for the long oval, one for the teardrop. That is a weird shape. Sherman, what teardrop or oval? What are you feeling?
Teardrop.
All right. Well, there you go. So, what I'm going to do then is I'm basically, since I don't have a very long teardrop, what I'm going to do
There.
is use one of these templates to do half of the template shape and then add on the ridge after. I'll do it here. I don't really have
You
my
want
phone
to, you
over
have
there.
a,
I'm going to move this to the somewhere else so I don't slit my arm open. All right. What I'm going to do is get that, wash it off with water. Are you muted?
I'll wash it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Did my headset die?
No. I'm unsure of that, Douglas. Team or Lizelle, can you check? Thank you. Alrighty. How does Zeke usually do his cab nights? Something similar to this, I presume. Ooh, dang. Saving some money on that island agate deal. I cut my favorite island agate a couple weeks ago. Even sent a picture to John, and I got that's cool highlight of my week. All
Here's
right.
that piece right
As
here.
Alrighty. So this is the piece, nice and skinny. What we're gonna do is get my little brass nail wherever it went. Oh, Zachary. There she blow. And this I just well, Zeke sharpened. Just it's a little brass nail, sharpened it. You can do this with an aluminum piece too. I just don't know where my aluminum pen is. And I'm gonna pick this skinny shape here and etch it on.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Oh, I missed. Oh, shucks. It moved. There we go. Ah, and Butterfingers today. And it's hard to see, but you can see the shape I cut. Now I'm going to bring it over here to my lovely, dovely CB. There, it's not CB.
Yeah, 10
HT.
TS.
It's not an HT. I'll get there. I'll keep guessing through the machine, sure.
The 10 TS. Oh, that's a cool idea, John.
One thing you'll notice, I don't have to worry. This blade isn't going to cut me. Diamond blades, it's very hard to cut yourself. And this is a sharp one. You can see I'm pushing my finger against it. It's not cutting me. Still be careful. And for this, because of how that broke off right there, I'm just going to grind it to that point because it's a skinny cab. So I can just grind it.
We didn't get templates in this last shipment. Maybe tomorrow.
No, we did not.
Hey, Lizelle. Well, I don't know if Lizelle's on or not.
Yes, Sherms.
Hey, Lizelle, can you look and see on the templates, Great Shape templates, the ETA of those coming in?
Yep. For this one, Sherm, it's showing assembly, so you need to check one by one, and you have to make this one.
Yeah. Do we? But I don't. But I know we're missing some of the single pieces. And I'm thinking number 8 may be the one that we're missing.
Number 8 and number 3.
Okay.
10 TSS. We actually have some of them that may be
Going out tomorrow.
But I don't know, Keith, where you are on that list. But I think there's another 23 of them.
22.
22.
Sorry, my job is to know the inventory.
You can tell who's runs inventory and in the operation.
Yeah, for Great Shape template, it's gonna be for the next container day. On the next PO, 178. So that's gonna be tomorrow.
Okay, good. Yeah, I knew it was imminently arriving. So right now you can see that she's taken off, kind of taking that material off the sides here down to her lines.
Well, I kind of scuffed my line, so I'm doing something a little bit more experimental. AKA, I'm eyeballing it and hoping for the best. I think I'm going to see a couple people. I think Nancy, I'll see you this Saturday.
Saturday, I think. Yeah, somebody's in Texas. Oh, Cynthia, you're in Texas. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot down there. John's
What's that like?
John's down in Texas right now as well. Austin area. Although he doesn't want to come up here until it gets warm. It's like 28 degrees this morning.
Brisk, as one would say.
Yeah.
All right. I roughed it out enough that I'm going to move to, weirdly enough, my more aggressive wheel because of how dull that one is. Can you scroll the chat, Sherm?
Oh, sure. Hey, Kent. Yeah, definitely be hot there. St. George, yeah, 100. Oh my goodness, Central Montana. Yeah, 16 to 60s. Yeah, it's definitely pretty nice and a little chilly out here, but not bad.
I hate the cold. I'm literally
Yeah,
different person between the summer and the winter. Ask Sherman, he would know.
that's very true.
How
When
dare you say?
we had one sunny day and Taya was really, really happy. And then it got cold again, and then she was less happy. It's fair. I think I'm being accurate. I
You
mean,
are.
I definitely now at this understand the. See, I used to spend a lot of my time over in Asia, um, during the winter, and of course, it's really nice there in Shenzhen. Um, and
Sherman just so happened to miss every major snowstorm for 10 years, and I had to do the snow shoveling and the snow plowing.
I did, I did. God, that is a crazy looking place. That one there. This is what I'm looking at. Like that's super cool. And I'm trying to see what would be a cool shape to make out of it.
Yeah, I got to pick out that one, got 2 slabs out of it, and then Zeke sold it out of my saw.
Hey, Zeke, it's
Not making friends that day.
no. I remember hearing about that. But you all benefited from that. Now, this is pretty cool, like the heart right there on that Melifiori. Yeah, never leave the basement. Or in this case, never leave the lab with your stuff out without tucking it away.
All right, I'm
Oh, that's
setting the
cool,
bevel.
Joe. Yeah, northern Michigan's going to be pretty cold. That's for sure. Yeah, and we actually are coming up on a spin here. That's a good reminder.
My hardest thing I struggle with in the cut-in chats is when I'm working, I'm not a chatty person. I tend to get hyper focused. I love yapping. I love a good yap, you know. Sherman tells me to shut up quite often.
I do
Um,
not.
uh-huh, sure. Sherman tells me to shut up occasionally. Um, and but like when I'm focused on stuff, especially at work, I don't even listen to music. I am kind of a quiet person when I'm just like focused throughout the day. I don't listen to music. I just really focus because a lot of my job is focusing on numbers, you know? Zeke is out sick. He lost his voice, and Jordan has the night off. I gave her the night off. She deserves it. And I thought I could have a fun little time with my dad. It's rare that I get to hang out with him.
That's true. We work all the time together, but we are not together all that much.
No. Like I see him during meetings, but that's not really a fun little bond time, you feel? I'm not bonding with my dad over bills.
Or interviewing people. That's definitely part of what we do too. We're definitely
Yep.
focused on hiring more people. Um,
Yeah. I will say out of the family, me and my dad are the quietest. Could you believe it? My sibling and my mom, nonstop those two.
yeah, no, we're
Ain't that
definitely the
right?
quieter ones. Zeke, as you can tell, is also not quiet. True.
Well, it's his job.
It is his job.
If he sat in silence on the live sales, I feel like that would be a very interesting dynamic. thoughts on graded versus ungraded grit for flat laps. 100% graded, and for me, the coarser grit you can get around away with it being ungraded, but for the finer grits, you want it to be graded. Personally, ungraded and graded just means you have the grit within a certain size range. Ungraded means you can have a wide variance of what that size grit in that mix is, and it's not filtered. Graded means it's filtered, so it's all within the same size margin. The problem with ungraded, ooh, that's a heckin' nice Laguna.
Yeah, I found it in the bin over there. That's pretty slick.
Would you get a weight on it? 474.
Wow, you're good.
I believe
Dave,
it's 474. Am I right?
No, it's a collection piece.
Well, there's a list over there.
Yep.
I don't know how he's doing because he's been unconscious all day sleeping. I gave him the day off. Told him to stay home, keep his sickness at home. I
Liz,
personally struggle a little bit doing skinny cabs. It hurts my fingers.
hey, Lizelle, do you need the weight on that Idaho Sunset?
Oh,
Yep.
I don't know if you guys saw what I just did. I messed up.
Point 0.59 pounds.
Thank you.
That's the Sunset deposit number 2. So it's PLU 297.
I messed up severely. I have to go
Uh-oh.
correct my cab.
What'd you do? Why don't you explain what you did so that people understand?
So what I did, I was being a little lax and I hit the edge of my wheel and it V-cut into my piece. So what I have to do is I have to grind the bezel down and make my piece skinnier to grind out that imperfection I left. So what I'm just doing is I'm evening out my bezel. I'll just do that all the way around my piece.
It depends on the material that you're cutting, Peter. That's the real thing. You'll get a lot of life out of the belt, but the belts are pretty inexpensive. I think they're roughly
$5,
around $5 a piece or something like that. So they're
$5, $6. Silicon carbide belts don't have a short. Well, it depends how much you're cutting. If you're doing 100 agates of a hard material day, you're going to burn through belts like no one's business. But if you're just doing it occasionally, they'll last like quite a long time. The thing with belts, because it's basically painted onto a piece of like burlap or whatever they're using as the belt blank, you can only have such a thickness on the belt before it wears out. You can't layer it, otherwise it wouldn't work.
Yep. Yeah, on that question on terms of the 6 or 8, the 8's going to give you more space, like what Vicky's saying. You know, we sell pretty even amounts of 6s and 8s. They're both really terrific machines. You know, the for the 6 is definitely a little smaller of a footprint, so it doesn't take up quite as much space. But the 8 is generally what people tend to go to. You know, and it's all really depends a large part on preference. You're going to have a little bit more space between your wheels on the 8, which if you're doing, you know, cabs with inside curves, other types of stuff, it gives you a little bit more flexibility. Or if you're like Taya and you tend to hit your knuckles, it gives more space.
Call out. All right. I'm weirdly struggling with this cab tonight. It's fighting me, Sherm. It's also because I'm standing.
Yeah.
I have back issues, so standing for me is not great for long periods of time. Well, we'll just do a little bit of this. There we go. That actually does not work.
Here. Yeah, it's a little bit hard. Vicky's been here. Adopt Pro would help. Although Taya generally doesn't use, she generally does her
Oh, I
tabs
use
by
it all the
hand.
time.
Or do
I
you?
just don't use it on camera because I don't want to wait the 40 minutes to let it sit and cure.
It's not that long to cure.
Well, that's if I use the quick spray. But even then, I like waiting so I know I have a secure thing because there's nothing worse than your cab going boom and shattering in your tray.
Yeah, or just bouncing.
All right, so I have it kind of roughed out.
It's a cool little piece.
I'm getting,
I got saws
Yeah.
going.
I'm running about a 6. This Jasper is hard. Surprisingly hard. Because sits around a 7 for Royal Imperial, so I want to run a little bit faster, but I'm not really pushing it as fast as I could because I am not as confident in the shape. So I'm taking my time. But the slower you run your wheels, the less your belt is going to want to sit in one place for your expanding wheel. This I actually may need to mount on Adopt Pro, and I actually will. No sense in struggling when I can make life easy, right? I think we have one thing about the 8s as well. Your wheels, you have, since they're bigger wheels with more surface area, it just because they're bigger wheels, they technically will last longer. You get more diamond in them. That is a sick piece, Sherm. This is what Sherm's going to be working on. That is cool. Look at the veining. This is Sonoran Sunset. I think you can show some of this on Tote Night tomorrow.
Yeah, that's really,
That's
really cool.
sick.
I'm going to clean this up.
Dang, Sherm. Making me jealous. Got Pro Kit when you have it right now. I just have a very skinty Millefiori cab on there. And to loosen it, you just use your Allen wrench, turn, pops right off. This, I usually soak in with some acetone and then just hit this and it pops off. I like storing my cabs like that though, like on the tray. What has Zeke done away with? Where's my super glue? Sound like that Frozone character. Honey, where is my super glue? But actually, though, I'm actually going to let you sit here. There is my gel. Now the question is, where's my quick set?
I'll look for it here, Tay.
You sure? Well, I'm losing it. Where did I set the cab down now? Oh, well, there she goes.
You dropped it on the floor?
No,
That survived.
you didn't see anything. So for this, since it has a little bit of dome, I'll show my little thing. I'm just going to use this to prep it up. I take my gel. I prefer the gel because I think it has a better hold.
Yeah, I'm not finding the accelerant.
Work with me. I think this may be a little dried out. No, it's dripping, just very slowly. Me and the only time I've got to play or cut rocks is what you've seen me do on camera for the past 3 weeks. Me and Sherman probably get to cut rocks the least in this entire building.
Oh, absolutely the least. We probably get to cut rock once a month. Um, other than that, it's all the work that, although it looks like it sometimes looks really, really cool and glamorous, but we don't actually get to cut rock all that much. We're like, get the packages shipped out or get the orders processed or interview people. Those are the
Fix some wild
the other
software
stuff.
problem.
Yeah, a wild software program. Thank goodness we're getting more software engineers. We're trying to hire 3 more software engineers right now.
I've
Who would
been
have guessed
robbed,
that we
Sherm.
have as much? I cannot find any of the accelerator. I found the sprayer for the accelerator right
Yeah,
here.
I literally had it sitting on this table, and then they cleaned the table, and I think that meant they've done away with my goods. Is this what it's like to have kids? Don't answer that, actually. I don't want to know. I'm asking my own dad this. Why is there grit over here?
Here's more
Oh,
super glue, but no accelerant.
give me that. I'll take that. Well, my, I've been robbed. They've robbed me.
I'm going to figure out what shape I want to use for this particular piece. This is really cool. You can see the kind of veining in there. So what do you think would work well with this particular piece, shape-wise, design-wise?
Hmm, do you want two-tone or do you want that vein?
Well, I mean, the vein is cool. The
It's a
two-tone
hematite
outside
vein.
is cool. Yeah, you can see the,
You have a crack right here. That's an actual
yep.
crack going there. So you want to avoid this little square because there's a crack there. There's also a crack coming here. So I'd recommend focusing on the blue vein just because if you hit it, it'll be a little difficult. A shield would be a cool idea. Not a, now that is a weird super glue bottle. That feels a little excessive. How do I even get it to squeeze? Oh,
Is it opened?
I don't, I think.
Let me see.
Uh, to puncture the nozzle, turn the cap clockwise until clicking sound stops. So turn that. Oh, my bad, Chief. All right, turn it clockwise and clicking sound stops. Unscrew the cap counterclockwise and then squeeze. Aha! Now does it work?
Yeah,
No. So I was the problem.
there you go.
Also, don't answer that. And then we'll just let that sit.
For taking it off, acetone.
Yeah, you want to get a little bin. Make sure the bin is not a type of plastic that is eroded with acetone. I know acetone makes all plastics slowly over time get hardened and get brittle, but you don't want to put it in a bin that just dissolves. You don't want to make a napalm. Trust me, I've been there and I've done that.
Where's your little?
Dock wax is really good. Yeah. I really want to know where that went. Oh my. Maybe it's on my desk. I'll be back. Maybe I am what?
Yeah, you don't need to go. Oh, you mean over there? Service desk?
Yeah,
How's that look right there?
looks great.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this out now, just so that I can get started on this. And I'm going to use the 6-inch machine while she's working the 8-inch machine. Just get a little trim saw here. And what I've done is basically have laid out, you can kind of see a shield. I'm picking up that line in the center. It might be cool. The hematite's kind of cool because it's definitely got that, you know, uh, kind of flashy feel. I like this. I'll probably want this side to be my piece, but I knew I had limitations here on where that cab tapers off. So I needed to actually figure out my shape from this side. But that side I think will be pretty cool.
Well, I'll be, Sherm. I've been robbed. No, you know what's crazy? Your favorite material.
Oh, there it is.
I know Zeke's gonna come in here one of these days to be like, "Oh, it was right here the entire time," and I'm gonna go insane.
Probably.
Probably.
Now I know this material could fracture a little bit because it's fairly soft, so that's why I'm going easy coming through it. And tell you while she's
All
doing
right.
that, I want to actually show you, she's starting to actually do a little doming on this piece, that agate that she's been sitting with for a while. So she's using that coarse wheel to start really bringing it, curving out, taking that broken part and smoothing it off.
You'll see I'm working it into there. You'll see me like really doing this and moving back and forth. So I'm using all of the diamond on my wheel and I'm not making a flat spot on my wheel. Michael, anywhere from the trash to any surface in this 70,000 square foot, just this 70,000 square foot warehouse. So not necessarily easy to hunt down. No, I checked by the entire machines and it's not there. Gonna put more water because I'm going so aggressively. Even more. You see, I caught the edge of the wheel and it took my arm in. Gotta be safe with this.
Now here's an unfortunate thing, like as I'm trimming this out, you see that corner broke off on me.
Hmm.
So that happens. So now I'm going to say, okay, how do I modify this piece? Probably shrinking it down a little bit.
Oh, I can show you a really cool tip for if you break your piece, but you want to keep roughly the same shape.
All right.
I'll show you this. I've used this. I showed Jordan how to do this too. Tis not all is lost. That gives you a thing. So I have my piece, right? You see where his broke off right there, right on the edge of where his shape is. So what you do, take your shape.
Oh, you're just going to bring it down.
I'm just bringing down the top and then remark it there. So you're just basically lowering that corner. If you see, I lowered the corner Same shape, just lowered.
That was good.
Saves you from having to reshape it if you really want that shape. Cute little tip that you don't necessarily think of right away, but can be helpful. Is there Zoom update called the chat to change? It did. I don't know how to adjust it. It may be a light and dark thing you can pick in the settings. What is going on with my wheel?
Zeke's desk. You know what? It actually could be at Zeke's desk. That's actually not an unlikely spot. Oh yeah, baking soda, that would work. All right, so I've trimmed this piece out. So now I'm going to just start shaping it to come in on the 6-inch machine.
Actually, sure, we're going to switch machines real quick. I need a much more aggressive wheel. So we're going to switch. So here's the 6-inch, my baby, my favorite saw. I'm going to settle right down for this bad boy.
Oh yeah, that is a more aggressive wheel. I can hear the difference.
Hey, Sherm, our settling tank's getting a little full. So I'll
right.
look at that in a sec.
I can look at it.
And you can see I'm getting somewhere. Pretty cool, right? That's a cool pseudomorph. But this is an old piece.
I'm going to temporarily shut your water off. All right, Tay.
All right.
And I'll go empty this tank.
Little quaint little agate. This has multiple fill tubes in it too. Or fill channels. We don't know if there's fill channels or exit channels for the silica when they fill in these air pockets under the ground with different minerals, and that's why you get their colors. It's kind of a theory in lapidary, but no one can put a camera in there and tell them exactly how it works. I'm running this at the fastest speed I can. This is an agate, and I want to get it down, so this is a 9.
I don't think that's 9. Maybe a little less than that.
No, it's a 9. I'm staring down
Okay.
at it.
All right.
Look at Sherman and his muscles. I gotta have my coffee though. It's cold now, but
Taya's coffee's always cold because she
okay.
forgets about it.
Okay. You're telling them my business, Sherm.
It's true.
They'll know. One thing I was talking to Zeke about and Jordan about Sherm is I was like, oh yeah, I can hang out like with my dad, be on live sale, but I don't really have any new stories to tell him. Why, you may ask? Because Zeke and Jordan, any story I tell them about like my dad, me and my uncle, it gets shared on the live sales. So you guys already know all the stories.
Oh, there's stories we haven't told.
Uh-huh. Do continue, sure.
I got your water back on. You can see how that wheel is definitely more aggressive.
This is a polishing pad. This is a flat backer disc to a felt polishing pad. What I'm right now trying to do, if you can see, I'm trying to make this not as an aggressive because I want it so you can see this entire pattern when it's facing you. So if I have it really aggressive, you'd only get half the stone. So that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Oh, you're kind of curving it out.
Does does Samaya love rocks like you and me? No.
She does like them, but she
They like
likes
their
to
free
display
rocks.
them. They love free rocks, that's for sure.
They like the free rocks, that's for sure.
And that's one of the things that it's kind of funny. Taya has liked rocks ever since she was tiny. I remember the freakiest things. We'd be walking down the street by her house. She'd look down on the ground and she would pick up a crystal point. And I'm like, how do you find that on our street? Do you remember that, Tay? We walking down Christian
No.
Hill and you look down on the ground and you picked it up. And I'm like, I don't even know how you found this stuff. We
I
used to
do remember
go,
finding.
she would find money. We would go because she loved money. When she was little, really loved money. Kind of like really loved money. And we're in Disneyland in LA or Burbank.
No, we were in
No,
Florida.
it was
Orlando.
no, it wasn't Orlando.
Oh,
It was actually in the yeah, it was in Orlando. And she walks over to a post and pulls out of the top of the post $20 bill. Like it was sitting at the top of the post. And I'm like, only her could find that kind of stuff. Like she could sense where it was at. It's kind of funny.
I may have been what, 4, but I knew what was important.
Yeah, you're like, oh, money. That's a good thing. It's an important thing to have. Not everything, but certainly valuable. Better to have it than not.
Makes life a little more easier.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I loved seeing I never got to see my uncle because my uncle lived in Texas and we're from, like, I grew up in the Northeast. I
Yep.
remember being over the moon when he would come visit because silly Uncle John. And I'm not close with my other side of the family all that much. Didn't grow up with them and stuff. My mom's adopted, so like not super close with that side of the family. Um, so I really only had my uncle, like Uncle John, because my aunt and my cousins were in Illinois. So when John would come up, I remember being overjoyed. He was so funny.
She was always hanging out with him. Always hanging out with him.
I would show photos of like me and my uncle, but my siblings in them, and I don't share photos of my sibling without their consent. So they're more private and not really comfortable with being shown online. So I respect that. That's how we're looking so far. Kind of cool, right?
There, I'm kind of bringing this shape in here. See, I'm still outside my line a little bit. You can't really see it at that though.
There you go.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey there, Jason. Well, I haven't got John on here yet. I'm like, no, she didn't find it in my wallet. Taya would never do that. I never really worried about that. Um, she would just find stuff, and we're hoping she gets that knack really good for finding material. Because a lot of what John's really good at is finding exquisite material that is not on the market, which is why I can bring some really cool deals for you all, because we'll end up buying it all. That's been kind of our approach is find a good material, buy everything.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had to worry about me or Smaya acting up when we were younger. We were really well-behaved kids, weirdly enough.
Yeah, no, you guys were pretty straightforward. You also just did so much, you really didn't have time to get into trouble.
Sure, I was never home growing up. I also didn't have to worry about like taking money from my parents. I got my first job. Technically, I got my first job when I was 11. I started babysitting, but I got my first legal job that wasn't under the table at 13. And I have never not had a job since. I started working for Highland Park when I was 11 as well, but that was more like hang out with my dad and start trying to grow a company because it was right after 2008 where the economy crashed.
Yeah,
So,
we lost
yeah.
everything in 2008. That was a sucky year.
Yeah.
2008, 2009. That's actually what got me into this because I was doing software prior to that, and I had a software company which was doing pretty well, but the economy went upside down. We were doing our next round of investment capital, venture capital, and the markets stopped, and so we couldn't do our next round of funding, and we weren't fully profitable yet, so shut it down.
2008 took a victim.
Yep. Yeah, it's a shitty job cleaning stables. That is actually pretty good. But I tell you what, nothing like being around horses. If you're around, I love horses, smell of tack rooms, things like that. I grew up riding. Um, I never had a horse, but going to the place you could go ride, that was super fun. Yep, yep. 2008 definitely was a shit show. John started this in 2009. I joined him in 2010. I remember going out to the Quartzsite powwow show and just to kind of help my brother do this thing. And we sold 30, it's like 32 saws, 31 or 32 saws in a week, which was crazy. And this is when everybody was saying, oh, lapidary is dying. And we're like, our intuition told us it wasn't. And then you just really saw the interest. And we're like, no, there's really is an opportunity. I grew up in Ohio, Aaron. So I was doing more English style. So some jumping. I mean, I did do some of that. But not like formal dressage type of things. Dressage is really big out here. Oh man, egg house. That would be a heck of a job. Oh, that's awesome, John. Man, I love horses. I've been talking to Tay that she and I should go out and do one of these like you go ride horses, like horse
Trail riding.
Trail riding. That would be super cool. I got a number of friends that are ranchers out in Wyoming, and they're always like, "Come out and go riding." And of course, the challenge is having the time.
Yeah, we don't really talk about it too often about how we got into like Highland Park Lapidary.
Yep.
It's like one of those things. I talk about it a lot where I have only kept 2 agates that I've cut. A lot of people think like, oh, you get to it's your family's company, you can cut whatever rocks you want and stuff. I have only kept 2 rocks that I've cut for Highland Park, like agates.
Yeah, it's
All the
true.
other agates sell because they're not mine. They're Highland Park's.
Yep. Yeah, I have
It's
some friends here that are really into dressage, like competitive wise.
oh, it's Steven
And yeah, yep.
and Kevin, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, Deborah.
Ooh.
Oh, cool, Neil. I love to see what you're doing. Yep, yep, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I got another buddy who is rides rodeo, and and he's now doing roping. So he's
PBR?
what?
PBR?
Hmm. No, I
PBR.
don't know who you say PBR is. I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's basically PBR is like a circuit, and that's like bull riding. They do radio. I know they have done like other stuff, like different rodeo stuff as well. They're
Yep.
mostly well known for like bull riding.
He used to do bull riding when he was younger, but I think he's almost 40 and he's like, no, I don't want to do that. This is a little tough.
I had a weird amount of hobbies growing up.
You did. Oh wow. That's pretty good. Um yeah, yeah, that's true, Jim. It would be a totally different story for sure.
Is it?
Thank you, Vicky. PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Milwaukee.
Yeah, the beer.
Yeah.
I I drink more than you, buddy.
Well, it's true. True.
Although I don't really drink anymore. Not good for me. I'm slowing down at the ripe age of 26.
Well, probably should avoid it. Let's see what you've done so far on that piece. Yeah, so you can see with that being broken off there, now she's really turning into something that's pretty cool.
Because how I would want to display it is, I don't know how I'd want to display it. Probably like that.
Yeah,
You could also display it like this.
yeah,
You just need a stand behind it.
yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to round more edges down to make it a little bit more even.
Yeah, don't set it down as equal, sell it. That is true.
All right.
So what I'm doing now on this piece is I've got this shape out and now I'm starting to round the edge.
Start putting your dome on it.
Starting to do my dome.
One thing you want to be careful when you're doing a bigger piece on a cab wheel is when you're pushing it into the wheel, you don't want the edge of the wheel to catch the center of your piece because you'll get this channel that gets cut straight in the center. So you want to keep moving. You don't want to just flat out and don't move it. You'll get cuts in the face of your stone and then you'll have to spend more time grinding those out. A real nightmare. Yeah. I knew this piece would take a lot of work, but holy, you guys see how much I'm doing.
Yep, she's hogging some stuff. Hey, tonight, anybody interested in doing any uh diving into some totes a little
I
later? Tay, you want to do some of that? Or you're not feeling it? Yeah, I think some people want to do some totes. We can do a little bit of tote.
I don't know if my feelings really mattered in this sequence of events. I fear.
We could do some tote mode on some of this uh Sonora and Sunrise. Um, we do have some I'll have to get my little weighing card out. I'm working on taking the tote mode thing and automated it. Yeah, we're gonna have a spin coming up here in about 3 minutes. So what I'm doing right now, and this is, you can see I'm kind of beginning to kind of knock down that edge there, kind of curving that out. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm going slow. I've not worked this material that much, so I'm not doing super aggressive because it is softer and I don't want to cut too fast in. So I'm a little using a little bit of a finer wheel. Still on the centered wheel when I'm taking that edge down. Oh yeah, we have a lot here, Jim. We've got probably 580 ton of rock right now, maybe slightly less. And we're actually
You
trying
know,
to get more
a
space.
couple pebbles. I actually don't have Montana moss right now.
Are we out of that?
Been out for a while there, pal.
Yeah, we move a lot. The key thing is you got to have good material, because there's a rule that we have. Oh, Charles got it, man. He was queued up and ready.
Did you pick out a giveaway?
Yeah, what should we give him as a giveaway there? Oh, she's going to, why don't you grab
Ugh.
something there? She
Well,
grabbed something.
he's distracting.
She's going to grab a giveaway. I figured that was a good time to roll that in. So basically, I'm just working in this wheel. I have a wheel, water coming out of this. There we go.
Making me work hard, Sherm.
I am. You'll figure something out real nice.
You invite your dad on to have a nice, relaxing night, and he puts you to work.
Well, it's also John may join us a little bit too. I've got a,
You invite your uncle to a nice, relaxing night, and he puts you to work. It's the same thing.
yeah, that's true. What we're trying to do is take a lot of John's knowledge and get it so that ultimately you could ask questions because he has almost an encyclopedia knowledge of rock. And we want to get it so that that knowledge is available long after he and I are no longer able to do this. So that's one of my projects I'm working on is how do I get John, uh, his knowledge into a way that you can ask questions and he could answer it. So very, very good data set for that. Ooh, we got some island agate here. A spray bottle.
I joke that I am my father's strongest son.
So this is lot number 8239. Nice batch of island agate pieces here.
I picked you out some nice ones. You got some nice reds and pinks in there. You got good banding and shadow in there. That's a banded one. Nice bunch. You got your reds in there.
Yeah, congratulations.
For you, Lizelle.
She's got it. So here's this piece. You can see I'm starting to get the shape to it, starting to kind of bring myself in around the side. Now, if it was Zeke, he'd probably have this thing done. I am not as fast as Zeke. He's got definitely more raw hours doing cabbing than I have, guaranteed. And he's really proficient. Super, super
Well,
good.
it was his pure job. You were too busy
Yeah.
building a company.
Yeah. He definitely gets to cut more than all of us I think combined. Wouldn't you
Combined.
say?
Jordan cuts more than me and you combined.
Yep, yep. She definitely does. We kind of honestly get a little envious of that because it's like, oh, come on, I want to do the fun stuff.
Right? I don't always want to do the paperwork
Yep.
or beef with UPS.
A beef with UPS loses things or they destroy something, which definitely happens.
I want to have fun sometimes too. Well, I'm of the mindset of I don't have anyone else to do it.
We do have some do we have Millie Fiore cutoffs? I really don't know.
Cutoffs, I do, but not a lot down here.
Yep.
That's something I have to get Zeke to pull from up yonder.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, part of what we're very much working on is working on
Oh my God.
Deb tight nose kind of tight. Is Teo's really learning the business because that's actually part of the John and I's effort to be able to get not in as much of the day-to-day business and have another team member who can take that on. And of course, she's been in the business for so many years that she's done every job in the company from like finances and doing QuickBooks when we were on QuickBooks to packing boxes to running freight shipments to hiring people. And and that's been really what's allowed her to be able to step into thing and absolutely right, Stacy, like keeping Zeke under control. That definitely, I think, has led to some of her gray hairs, her early gray hairs.
Don't point out my white hairs. That's genetics and it's your fault.
It was my fault. Well, I blame it on my mom. My mom.
You
had
went
gray
white
hair
at
early.
28. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, yep. It's true. It's true. All right, I'm going to start queuing us up for being able to do a little bit of tote mode. But yes, Chad, we are going to try to get John's capability. 1.55 pounds, Lizelle. Oh, did you guys get that?
We got it, sure.
I was it. Yeah, Lizelle, you were in the middle of QuickBooks. Oh my God, Lizelle was in here when we definitely had a much less advanced technical staff.
Wait, was Lizelle here?
She's
Yeah.
here 5 years ago, 6 years ago when you started.
Because
Yeah.
in 2018, I went to China just to sit at a desk to redo our entire QuickBooks database. What a
you
trip.
you did work on the factory floor some too.
You're right. I built all the carriages.
Yeah. Lizelle started as my personal assistant. Right during the whole COVID crisis, she'd gotten cut from her company and I interviewed her and she was impressive because I put up a job post. She was the first person to respond to the job post, very first person. And we scheduled an interview, an hour later, Lizelle?
Yeah.
And I get on the phone with her and she knew about the company. She knew about me in great detail because she'd done her homework. This is pre-Chat GPT, pre-AI. And she absolutely nailed it in terms of her interview with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire her. And we went from, her being the first team member into the Philippines to, I think we're like 30, 40 people. We had another company we built, which is upwards around 50 people that we sold. That was, that definitely was a great experience and love working with Lizelle. And for those of you who work with Lizelle, she's a badass. She's definitely gets the job done and she cares a great deal. Not every, we're not going to be perfect, but like you want to solve a problem, Lizelle is the one who can go figure out how to solve a problem and get things taken care
Lizelle
of.
will hunt me down for an answer.
Oh,
She-
at 11:30 at night, I'm in bed and my phone's ringing. It's like Lizelle. I'm like, do you ever sleep?
I literally asked that question a couple weeks ago. I was like, when did she sleep? Because I
Yeah.
got a message at like 2 in the morning. I was like, okay. And then I got a message at like 10. And then I got a message at 2. I was like, girl, what? Hello?
Yeah. Well, now her sister is my personal assistant. And she's doing a great job too. But I'm not gonna let her go into another role because I kept taking my personal assistants and move them. Our finance person used to be my personal assistant. Like I keep losing them to do, critical functions in the business.
Boo hoo.
You've been in every function, and you've been my assistant
Where's
as well.
where's
You were
my
my first
PA?
assistant. Yeah, no, you've
I
done
wasn't
well.
getting paid for that either.
Can you show a sphere cutoff? Can you show a sphere cutoff?
Like,
What do you mean? Uh,
well, Michael, send me a picture. If you're not satisfied with it, we can sort that
we
out
can
and
get you
get you
more.
something you're satisfied with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just send it. And like, it should be a mix of colors, ideally. Now you see this one, it actually didn't have that much red. And you can see where I'm kind of rounding this out.
It's
So I chose to kind of do that, and then I'll make that hematite really pop. But ideally, you should have that mix of the red and the other color in there too. So yeah, we'll get you hooked up. Actually, just ping Lizelle. Lizelle and her team can get you handled on that. That sphere cutoff deal. Hey,
oh yeah,
what's the sphere cutoff deal? I don't know what that is.
it's for that bin with sphere
Oh,
cutoffs from the Indonesian factory.
oh, you want to do tote mode on that too?
Do we have a tote of it down here?
We do. That's why I took that out of.
I always get asked questions about like, oh, do we have this in the lab? I was like, I am in the lab for maybe 20
Yeah,
minutes out of the day.
it's
I
true.
don't know.
True. Hey, let's do a spin, and then we'll see if we can go take a look.
This is where we are so far, by the way.
That's looking really good, dude. I'm going to move the monitor over there. Tay's going to keep cutting here for a little bit, and I'm going to relocate us over there and hopefully not disconnect the power.
Yeah, we can call it for you guys.
Right now, I switched to the expanding wheel to start smoothing out my rough grinds. Ooh. You can see I pushed too hard and I got it too hot, so there's dry spots.
All right. I'm undoing the extension cord, Lizelle, so I can get us closer. And I have to do an educational training on how to wrap an extension cord so it doesn't have a gazillion loops in it. How to lariat a cable. For those of you who've done roping, you
Listen to
know
him. He's still
about
just
that.
making up words. I'm joking.
I'm not making up words.
You know,
All
I got
right.
bullied for using big words. It's his fault. Listen to him. Larry. Who's Larry? What is he eating?
All right.
Ow! I got my knuckle. I was a little too enthusiastic, and when I went down, I shaved my knuckle off. Be careful. I've been doing this for years, and I still make mistakes all of the time. That is part of learning. If you never make mistakes, you never learn.
I'm grabbing a couple of carts for us.
Do you have any idea when the Black Sea agate will be in?
No idea.
That's a great question. I believe that's in transit right now, but I don't know the ETA on it. Hey, can you ping John to see if he could jump on, Lizelle?
Okay.
This is actually coming out really well. I'm like really pleased with how this is coming out. What are we thinking? You see me constantly feeling this. I'm feeling for flat spots. Like I have one right there. So I'm going to start grinding that out.
Yeah, sometimes your feeling is sense of that's going to be better than trying to visually see it.
No, my eyes lie to me all the time. I'm dyslexic.
Well, that's true
So
too.
is Sherman. Fun fact. Oh, there's shadow in this piece that I didn't realize until I was polishing. Now that's cool. I love surprises.
You know, it's
There we go.
interesting.
That is my next. I finished my next rock. It's looking great. I'm actually really happy. I didn't know how this was going to go. Because it was a very technically tricky piece. You saw how the entire top was thing, and I didn't know how I was really going to polish it. I was kind of just like guessing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry it because I know I have some hecka scratches like right here. You can see that how it's, and that's why you believe nothing. I have a flat spot I have to get out there. It looks really pretty with water, and that's why you never want to buy oiled stones from Tucson because this is
Oh
what it's going
yeah.
to look like. Look how
Uh,
severe these scratches are that you can't even see. So I got to spend
that
quite a lot more time on that belt.
well, that's also classic when you'll see people selling agates and they oil them, and they're all fractured. They cut them on in water and with a saw too
Because
aggressively.
once that's like it's oiled, it looks so nice. But then you saw it dry and it's freaking an awful polish.
All right. I'm kind of set up here for the sphere cutoff. We can start with sphere cutoffs, and then we'll move down to the Sonoran after that. So when you hit a point to move over with that camera thing there, we can do this.
I will say, I saw a comment that it's like it makes it look easy when you're just watching it. Years. Years and years and years and years and years of me cutting a rock, being so excited, showing John, and John going, "You massacred it." I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes John is kind of a little bit more straightforward that way.
Yeah. Has he gotten back to you?
No, it's not
Oh,
picking.
I was talking to Sherman, not picking up the phone.
Yep.
Not yet. Yeah.
He may be in owner's manuals mode. Who knows?
Looks like an eyeball. Yeah. So I just went a little bit further. This is probably something I'm going to take to the wet belt sander to speed up because it's getting there. Although I have some severe scratches here. We're going to put that on the rest as my wrists are cramping up and do some tote, and then we'll come back to it. We have tote night, a full one, none of the kinks like we had tonight tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Any material you didn't get to see tonight that you want to see tomorrow, let them know and they
Yep.
can show it. And I'll see you later. Have a great one, and thank you for attending tonight.
All right. Take care, all.